this is the second match of the finals of the Big Bang Finals, presented to you by eSports.com. So, just a reminder, I am Quitch, and I'm joined by my co-caster Ghost.
Hello!
And we are seeing Matiz take on Patar. Matiz having established a 1-0 lead, so this map has been chosen by Patar as the loser of the previous match. So, you think we're going to see mass air from both players, or do you think Matiz will take a slightly different approach?
Matisse will probably... I think this will be the match that he does go for the fallback upon the great mighty Pag mass air strat. I think what Patan is trying to do is play on a map that he thinks he has the one-up versus Matisse on this one. I mean, we did see him play Andreas G previously on this match. I think that's why he did decide to choose this one specifically, is for that I might have the upper hand on you on this one, you know?
I felt that he's made a good choice here. This one can... Matiz is very much a macro player. He's not about using his army in some kind of micro-fiddly way. He's about, no matter how many fronts I'm fighting on, I'm also expanding on 6 other fronts. And this map offers limited opportunities to pull that off, as we saw. As long as you have air dominance, you can really shut down your opponent's attempts to expand out anywhere. So it's going to be about dominating the sky. Although, in fact, Matiz going for an earlier air is only going for the 1 bot factory. Patar going for 2 early bot factories. Perhaps he can invest, or he can get his combat fabrics out faster, I don't know. Or perhaps we are going to see some more early land pressure from him.
I'm really kind of favoring Matisse for this kind of opening right now with going for that air fabrication. These barriers that do have all this metal is going to be absolutely crucial for control, and if you can get something over your opponent, especially on a map with only now 72 versus 205 million something metal extractors, you know, it's going to be really important to just have, obviously, more metal than your opponent.
Yeah, and some very, very similar openings from both players. But yeah, and as we see, it's so Patar can get out 2 combat fabrics simultaneously. And we're just getting a feed here that apparently Andreas G is currently in the lead in the first game of the against Mott. I don't believe it's over yet, but he is currently ahead of his opponent. But that game is still going on the and that's on the same map that you just saw Matiz and Patar play on.
It looks like Patar going very strong for this tree economy. Of course, being the greatest economy that ever existed, trees being purely made out of 100% titanium steel. These docks, though, are going to get right all up into Patar's, I guess, tree economy. I'm kind of concerned because now, once the fire starts, Smokey gets pissed and things are going to start burning. I mean, either way, starting to trade in your own tree economy is going to be really bad for at least Patam. Matiz could really care less. These dogs can die for whatever he cares. The thing is, as long as there's a fire, that's when things start going bad for Patar.
Oh, you see smartly, there's the smart rallying from Patar. He didn't know those dots are coming, but he's got these he's got his bots over on the vulnerable side of the base. He's very defensive here. He's actually putting up some dual laser terrors queued up just on the other side of his base from where Matiz is attacking right now. And in actual fact, he's not going air at all. He's going mass bots. He's got 1 air factory, but it's bot factories all the way after that.
I don't like this choice. It's
certainly nothing like what we saw from him before. Did think he was doing this so he could go for a heavy air strategy again like last time, but he's trying something completely different.
Oh, you didn't finish it. Patar, what are you doing?
Oh, that's a slight step from Patar there. Patar, has he noticed? He's coming back.
He did notice it, but he's going to lose some percentage, at least like 1 or 2. There it goes. Ooh. Oh, Patar, please don't do this. How am I supposed to? Alright, so it looks like he does catch it, but oof, if that's any sign of how Patar's mindset is right now, that just shows he's really feeling the pressure right now. I mean, forgetting to just let your commander build a factory, that's kind of something that a lot of basic players know how to do, and if you're forgetting to do that, something's definitely going off on your head right now.
He's using this tree economy, so he's actually behind in terms of mexes, but it doesn't matter because he's boosting his tree economy, and I think he's just going to try and get a really fast win with these dogs. That's the areas I can see. He's spamming out some more fabbers so he can try and take advantage of this tree economy he's got going to get factories up as quickly as possible. He's going to mass the docks, and I think he's going to try and rush Matiz before Matiz can really get his air horde online. But we do see, actually, after this mass docks approach, some more air factories lined up from Patar. Very strange opening, very different from last time. I can only assume that he is going to try and charge across with those bots and overwhelm Matiz. But Matiz himself, a fair few number of bots getting built, and actually he's switched away from his air. He's only got 2 air factories, and he is himself going mass bots.
I was gonna say, I do like this choice though for this kind of all-in, even though if he's gonna go for the all-in, he really has to fully dedicate to it, and he is sticking with it, which honestly is a really good choice for him. I don't like the whoa, okay, as he does go for the all-in, he does start this very early tier 2. Besides ending games, he has got to be known for this.
He is indeed. Early tier 2 bot factory, which I like more than his land factory earlier. I'm not sure though that I like the bot factory on this. I think that Shellers could be really good on this map, especially if your opponents come in with mass docks. Shellers with their AoE versus Gillies, which aren't as fast. Gillies got the range, and that's great, but they don't have any AoE, so you're getting some slow shots that are going to pick off one bot at a time versus a Shello, which could potentially take out a whole bunch of them with its fire. So I'm not sure I like the tier 2, but a fast tier 2, he's going to try. His economy is holding nicely with Matiz, and his tree economy is taking him ahead of him. Yeah, very cautious, slow game so far though. Both players massing up bots, but just claiming their bit of the land.
Well, just coming in from the from our kind of satellite communications from everywhere and everywhere, Andreas G did just win the first map of 3 versus Mott 9001. So Andreas G now up 1 map versus Mott. Mott now needs to come back on 2, or else my bracket's really going to be in some serious trouble.
Oh dear, it's not a good day for Ghost. But we see here Patar mounting a little raid against Matiz there, taking out some of the expansions that Matiz was making rather boldly, quite close to Patar. And again, Matiz though trying to secure air dominance, but not building bombers. It's all about the hummingbirds with Matiz. Matiz doesn't seem like he wants to win with the air. He just wants to make sure that. In actual fact, this is very me. This is build lots of
so you're Matiz now.
Yeah,
okay.
I am. That's pretty much. I've taught him everything he knows. But this is very much like get the hummingbirds out there, stop your opponent using the air. But that's as far as you go, because you're not really comfortable with all that fiddly micro bomber nonsense. You don't want to be doing any of that. You just want to make sure the air isn't a factor in your game, and then go crush them with land.
See, my problem with this, from what Patah's done so far, is he still hasn't gone for this barrier metal. He has at least 3, 6, 9, 12 metal extractors that are just sitting here, not really doing anything. And if he wants to start winning the match, he needs to get some control.
Yeah, well, he's been very passive with his bots. Actually, how much have they seen of one another? So Patah hasn't scouted Matiz for a little while. It was almost 50-50 factory split when he was last over there, so he doesn't know that. Oh, he's probably figuring out from what he's seeing going on that Matiz has mass bots. Matiz, even worse for scouting, so they're kind of relying on what they're running into right now. But Matiz just running containment, and very much that Matiz now owns the skies. All those lake expansions are going to be his. Patar, on the other hand, massing up a larger force of bots, I think. Yeah, it looks like he
does. Yeah, looking at the army tab here, we do have 218 for Patar mobile already versus 154-ish of Matiz, and of course that does include the air units. So I mean that's obviously a much greater number. Factory counts actually in Matiz's favor for probably just because of the air. I think he does have more bot factories because obviously that's the right one. But this tier 2 is so close to being done.
Patar missing a bit of a trick there. He's pushed in with one Docks force, and the other one wasn't quite in position to attack yet. Finally, he's coming in for the other side, and Matiz now we're seeing Matiz's lack of units, and really could do with a few bombers to take out these Docks hordes. And actually, he has got a couple of bombers, probably not enough though for the number of Docks we're seeing there. And Patar bringing over his own fighters, I thought to offer protection for the Docks, but no, he's just trying to clear out that lake. And now this Docks horde for Patar coming in, and if this breaks through, it's going to do some serious damage.
Do nothing.
Oh no! It took out some. Oh, and he's getting some wins in there.
It was only
the bomber's still.
Nope.
Oh, and down it goes. But yeah, I think he took out what, about a quarter of that Docks horde there.
I think he only shaved. It was a nice little trim off the top. It really didn't get those big meaty shots that it needed to.
It's bought him the time he needs because now he's managing to build his own, and Batiz now going for his own tier 2. So
I think he saw it though.
Yeah, the tier 2 of Patar just finished.
He didn't. Patar didn't see the tier 2.
Oh, and no, indeed he did not. No, he did not get vision on that tier 2, so he doesn't know.
Oh, that's big.
He's only seen these bot hordes. He hasn't seen that. Both players now very heavily invested in this tree column. It's keeping them moving, but Patar actually running out of trees in his area. It's starting to look like a rather bald spot on the map.
Well, this is not good. He still needs to get that medal that's on these barriers. There's like 12 medals just waiting for him. I mean, they're almost throwing themselves at him. They're like, please, Ptah, let us win so that Matiz can just be hungry for another month. Please let us win for you. But just nothing.
Yeah, both players, though, again, it's a very cautious play from both of them, I think. Or I suppose you could say it's very respectful play.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
They're neither of them making any particularly aggressive pushes. We're seeing some docks go in occasionally, but nothing spectacular. Bomber from Ptah now running over the top again.
Oh, the bomber, though, it's going to go in for another sweep. I think it's going to get some good connections here. Matiz isn't spreading. These bombers are going to do bit. Oh, no, I got a few.
No, it's nice. It's doing it nice though, hiding them with the fighters, because the docks don't prioritise bombers in the same way that AA would. So if you hide it in there with the fighters, you can get some nice wins. It's very hard to individually target bombers as a player. I would.
Oh my god,
even Matiz,
it's very hard.
Yeah, not even Matiz that can pull it off. You're trying, and what you end up doing is you end up giving them a move order that causes them to clump and they'll be killed instead. So basically, it's best not to bother. Give them an area patrol. That's probably the best way to handle that situation.
Now it looks like both Ptah and Matiz, just with the greater economy, actually caught up, and is now starting some tier 2 of his own. Ptah's early tier 2 build, it's paying off now. He's starting to catch up, but I mean, he's still almost 200 metal behind his opponent, and right now he's just not. I mean, he's just falling behind. Simply put, the metal that he needs to get is just not there for him right now, and eventually, just this long macro game, excuse me, is going to eventually swing back into Matiz's favor. And so far, that pendulum, it's starting to creep back to Matiz right now.
Well, we're seeing that he's gone for slammers rather than for ghillies coming out of his tier 2 bot factory.
Oh, the scout. Matiz just scouted the tier 2.
He knows what's coming, but he's got his own tier 2. He's gone for vehicles, and the shellers are coming out of there. And to be perfectly honest, like I said, I think the vehicles are going to be a better choice. There's only one way for stuff to run. You've got to run straight at your opponent. There's no fancy manoeuvring. There's no flanking. So he's just going to stick his shellers behind them, and they're going to do devastating levels of damage to these bot hordes.
Well, but Ptah, he needs to find something cheeky. Maybe even orbital play, because there's still no deep space here from either player, so something cheeky like that would be absolutely fantastic. Maybe pick off some of the tier 2 fabricators and then maybe get something else for your money. But right now, I think Quitch just died, so I'm gonna just kind of solo cast it. Oh, he's alive.
No, I'm here. There's a small microphone accident happening there. I decided to assault myself, as I do occasionally. But both players now,
that got kind of deep.
Yeah, I'm a tormented soul.
Alright, so getting a special snowflake out of the cast.
But both players now massing up their troops. Ptah basically just trying to hold off one section with some docks and some laser towers, although it is slowly creeping towards it with grenadiers. On the other side, the real confrontation is going to be going down here. Doc's starting to creep forward. Matiz has got more than enough to hold that, though. Combat Fabulous rolling forward as well, surprisingly.
Oh, he sees it. He sees it. This is going to be this will be a slaughter.
Yeah, if Matiz rolled forward his bombers there, he could really trim down that horde nicely. He may pick off those slammers, but Ptah's economy is really suffering. He's got none of the metal bridges. He's got none of the lakes. His economy is not looking healthy at all.
It's just been he's finally thank God he's finally starting to expand on the metal that he was supposed to have like 7 minutes ago. He needed that metal so desperately, and at this point we can see just what happened from all that extra time that Matiz has had that extra almost 200 something lead on him. It's given him effectively double the army, greater sheller counts, and now it's just a matter of time of when Matiz wants to attack into a lesser army.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've seen Ptah rushing tier 2, but he hasn't been able to convert that into... we see the sheller shells come in. And just
oh my goodness, the clusters.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look how many bots go down for each hit there, and I really don't think the slammers are going to be able to counter them. Oh, that was
goodness.
Brutal. And we're seeing Matiz, he's attacking at the back.
Oh my god, that range!
Ptah coming out from behind his defences now to engage, but it looks like Matiz is going to get the better of that confrontation, and he's going. But Ptah reinforcing, so Matiz having to withdraw. Oh no, the Doc's shield has gone down. If Ptah weaves a little, oh no, he's having to withdraw. The Grenadier is just a bit too much for him. So Batar beaten off on both fronts now. Matiz starting to roll up towards the front door, and with Shellers, Batar's going to have no choice but he's going to have to engage Matiz because he can't let those Shellers hide back there. But I don't see how he's going to stop them. He's got no presence up on the land bridge. If he could flank the Shellers, then perhaps he'd have a chance. But he's got nothing up there. Matiz has complete control at this point, and it's really not looking good for Batar.
Flank what? Into a straight line? I mean, there's no way.
Well,
this is Matiz's game to throw.
The bridge. If he was on the bridges, then he'd have an opportunity to perhaps bypass some of these forces and get to those Shellers. But he's got no presence up there.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's been staring at those metal extractors now. He's still bloody hasn't gotten these metal extractors, and at this point he deserves to lose. He's had what, ample time to get this tier 1 on these platforms, and he's just at 15 minutes, soon to be 16, finally getting there. This is Matiz's game to throw. He deserves this win. Pata just hasn't ever bothered to expand.
Well, I think we saw with Pata went for the mass bot approach, which gave Matiz the expansion advantage there because Matiz then has taken over the air. We see Pata starting to take it back, but at this point it's going to be hard work taking back those lakes from Matiz that he's owned. He's rushed the tier 2, but I don't see that it's gained him anything, especially as when he rushes tier 2, he seems to be rushing it for the troops and not for the economy, but I think it's the economy that's causing the win. And we'll see here Matiz now just coming in with an overwhelming force. The pelter's going up here from Pata because Pata's putting forward a last defensive line. Because I think he has to withdraw towards those pelters. He's got to get them in place, but that Sheller's just...
Yeah, but the Sheller's got more range than a pelter.
No, that first Sheller goes down, and he's just going to keep drawing up this line. I mean, that's going to be a fairly effective defensive line against this kind of bulk of troops. But Pata really
tier
running
1
out of
finally
options.
though getting grabbed by Pata. It's nice. It's nice to see. It's nice. Though it's too late and he's probably going to lose. It's nice to see.
Well, Pata massed up around the other side of Matiz's base. Matiz putting up a wall. Looking a little vulnerable there, Matiz. And I think Pata, if he wasn't paying so much attention on this front, would perhaps push into the back of Matiz's base and do some damage back there. But unfortunately,
there's way too many Shellers just being massed out right now. I don't even think, even if he ran into that blind
I'm zoomed out too far. You're right. There's quite a lot of them in there. But
Come on, what are you supposed to be, a caster or something?
But Matiz is going to make... Well,
the audacity.
I'm looking at a tiny bit window. But Matiz is going to he's going to make some moves. Because if Pata doesn't even try to get that win, then really he's just handed the game at this point. Because now Matiz is battered down the front door. I mean, their economies aren't that far apart. But yeah, Pata can't spend it. He's got tier 2 EQ now, but he can't spend it. And there we go. Pata,
that wasn't planned.
Pata's surprised by his loss. Here's Matiz
fire.
is still Matiz.
At least there's the GG at the end. I'll take that. Okay, good banter. Yeah. I'll take that.
Yep. Matiz knows how to have fun with this. But that's 2-0 for Matiz then in this the finals of Big Bang. And I think a fairly convincing win for Matiz.
Yeah, that was just Pata's ignorance from not grabbing those 12 metal extractors. I mean, that was the reason he lost. I will pin that. I will just duct tape it. I'll get a nice little Sharpie and put it on his forehead. You need to expand everywhere. And just that ignorance of not doing so lost him the game.
Yeah, I'm still surprised to see such a different opening. I wonder why Pata chose to play an opening so different from the one that he chose last time.
It was the mind game. It was the mind game. Pata thought, okay, I'm going against Matiz. He's probably watched the replay. He's a really good player. I got to find some way to one-up him. And so he tried that very... I mean, it was a very flashy build, simply put. And Matiz just kind of got a mirror and said, well, go ahead, shine your flashlight over here. I got a mirror. Just blind you with it.
Yeah, Matiz, again, just really playing a solid game there. He knew exactly what he was doing, teched at exactly the right moment. I think he made the right tech decision going to advanced vehicle factories.
Yeah, I really like the Shellers. I agree. That was a really good choice.
Yeah, I mean, we saw there that when the two armies faced off, he could completely dictate the flow of that battle because he had the Shellers, so Pata couldn't withdraw. He had to fight, even though the odds weren't in his favour, because the Shellers forced him to. It forced him to engage in a poor situation, and also meant that even when Matiz looked vulnerable around the back, the mere presence of Shellers hidden away in the base meant that Pata couldn't advance, even as Matiz created this particularly pathetic and weak wall with his single Faber.
I mean, I actually liked that kind of line in the sand for Pata there. I really liked that was put there, I mean, it was a nice way to just defend and say, like, look, I'm gonna have this part, you're gonna have that part, and it helped kind of segregate what he wanted to focus on. The problem was, he just really didn't utilize that to the best of his ability. I mean, he had that really nice 4 metal extractors and turrets there to just kind of keep that nice and safe. It never really did much for him, though. He never really capitalized on harassing Matiz's back door.
Yeah, well, I think again we saw that he went for an early tech, but he was never able to convert it into any real pressure on Matiz, and that seems to be the problem.
you hit the nail on that one.
It's the problem he had in the first game, it's the problem he had in the second game as well. He's rushing tier 2, but I can't see why he's rushing it. He's not converting it into anything, and it's allowing Matiz to spend more time in his T1 eco to expand better than Batari's doing, and then by the time Batari is able to produce tier 2, Matiz has got his own tier 2 because he had the economy to rush it.